This week in Louisiana agriculture,
preparing for a flood in the middle of a drought. I'm Avery Davidson with that story ahead.
Moving cattle to higher ground as the rising Mississippi threatens grazing lands along the levee. And Louisiana will see an increase in cotton acres this year thanks to favorable planting weather and some good prices. Hello everyone, I'm Michael Dana. Thanks so much for joining us. The Mississippi River at Baton Rouge will crest at 47.5 feet on May 22nd, according to the National Weather Service River Forecast Center. That level tops the record set during the Great Flood of 1927. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has opened the Morganza Spillway near New Orleans to divert water into Lake Pontchartrain, and from the air you can see the treetops as water flows through the spillway. The Corps is expected to open the Morganza Spillway sometime between now and May 17th. Right now, water is already leaking through the unopened gates. When the Corps does open the Morganza structure, the water flowing into the Atchafalaya Basin will flood about 15,000 acres of farmland. As This Week in Louisiana Agriculture's Avery Davidson shows us, some farmers and ranchers who make their living there could lose it all.
Get on, old poor cow.
Ricky Rivette's cattle have to get on. They're right in the shadow of the Morganza Spillway structure, the only thing holding back a 60-foot wall of water from the Mississippi River. And if these leaks are any indication, it's doing so reluctantly. That's why lifelong Morganza resident Jacques LaCour is helping Rivette move his cattle to higher ground.
This is more volume than we've seen ever in history.
Farther down the Morganza Spillway in Maringouin, Jimmy Hurdle Jr. is rushing to get his wheat crop harvested before either the Mississippi River tops the Morganza Spillway or the Army Corps of Engineers opens its gates, whichever comes first. It's a scenario outlined in this letter from Colonel Edward Fleming, in which he writes that areas in the floodway might have additional flooding due to water overtopping the Morganza structure, even if the Corps does not open the gates. Hurdle knows regardless, he's losing money.
It's either give it to the port or either just leave it out here for the crawfish.
Charles Bowe is looking past his wheat crop to the soybeans he would have planted behind his wheat.
It's going to be well over $1 million that, to lose a soybean crop after this.
It's right on the verge of passing.
Ted Glazer has no crop to harvest. The corn he planted just before Mardi Gras will likely be covered by 20 feet of water in the middle of a drought.
Now, while it's dry, and it's hard to believe we're going to have a flood when doing a drought, basically. But when I see water on top of this, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Of all the acres of corn Glazer is going to lose to the flood, it's the 3 right here which will probably bother him the most. You see, these are 3 acres of sweet corn he planted for his 13-year-old son as a special project so he'd have summer spending money. Well, just like the rest of his crop, it will be covered by about 20 feet of water.
From the air, Governor Bobby Jindal looks at the more than 15,000 acres of agricultural land that will be covered by water.
This was going to be a great year for yields and prices. We need to help our farmers get back on their feet.
Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain and Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation President Ronnie Anderson spoke with farmers at the Bachelor Grain Elevator to find out their concerns about crop insurance coverage. So far, the USDA's Risk Management Agency has not said whether or not flooding in the Morganza Spillway would be considered a natural disaster.
The brightest spot in all of this is the fact that we do have higher prices. So if they do have coverage, the amount of money that they'll receive will be a little bit better than if we had low prices.
We still believe that this is a natural disaster. This is an unprecedented amount of water that is coming down on us. These control structures have to be open.
And for the farmers in the spillway, their growing seasons will be closed. In Morganza, I'm Avery Davidson for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
The LSU Ag Center has set up a special website so you can get personalized information about the flood and its relation to where you live. You can find a link on our website at twilatv.org.